Welcome to Coaching Uncovered. I'm Ujjaval Buch, and in this series, I speak with coaches who have walked this path, done the inner work, and now creating real impact. These are the stories of reflection, courage, and clarity. I hope they inspire you wherever you are on your journey. Today, I have a pleasure of having this conversation with Anuradha. She is Anuradha Sikhdar, one of the youngest coaches in India when she started her coaching journey, and she is ex-sports person, spiritual enthusiast, and ICF credential coach. I have a pleasure of knowing her over last 5 years, and many of you would be deeply inspired by her wisdom and maturity with which she shares her insights. So welcome, Anuradha.
Thank you for having me here, sir.
Most welcome, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
So if I can ask you that, when you started this coaching journey, I guess 5 years back, so what was happening in your life then?
Oh, back then, life was different, sir. Life was wild, passionate. I was a lawn tennis enthusiast, and I was living and breathing tennis. So it was very different from what I currently am engaged in coaching and training. It was very different.
Absolutely. And I remember our conversation, it was a COVID time.
Yeah.
So when you undertook the coach training, what made you decide to opt for this profession?
So interestingly, sir, while I was engaged in my tennis practice, I was also very consistent with my meditation and deep breathing exercises. And I still remember that special episode I had on the court where I was preparing for a tournament and I was on the court preparing and I was going to pick up a ball for my service. And it was as if it happened in a blink of an eye. I was completely blank. And there was a voice which came from within which says, "What are you doing?" And I was very curious from where that came and what that meant. So I stayed with it. Even in my practice of meditation, I tried to linger and try to explore what really happened because it was happening for the first time. And as I stayed with it for a few weeks, two thoughts kept resurfacing again and again. One was, is it really what you want? And number two was ask. And the first point, is it really what you want? In hindsight, what I feel is maybe I was forcing it. Maybe it was not something which was meant to happen. And the second point, ask. I was very curious to understand, ask whom, ask what, ask where, ask why, ask when. And that is when I started exploring more into this element of ask. And since childhood, I was very curious about the human mind, how a person thinks, how a person behaves, what are the functionings of the conscious and the subconscious mind. And while this entire episode was happening in my personal space, I started exploring more about theories of therapy, counseling, and I fumbled onto coaching. And like we always discuss in spirituality that, the answer lies within, it has to come from within. And that is when I felt that coaching resonated very deeply because I think I can correlate with it, that the answers do come from within. And that is when 5 years back in the heart of COVID, I took the plunge.
Yeah, absolutely. And you took that risk.
Yes.
And, sailed through. So, despite you train with me, I just want to ask, what sort of personal insights or shifts that you noticed during your very first coach training program?
Yes, quite a few come to mind. It is etched in my memory. What you first mentioned in the first class is, before anybody else, this journey is a journey of transformation for you first, and then for others. And while we were exploring the theory, you, sir, it was very fascinating to learn that the concept of open mind, open heart, and open will. And while I was reflecting on that as a person, I realized that at times, as human beings and even as an individual, I was holding certain judgments about myself, that this is how I should be, or this is a certain way I should not be. And while we were exploring that theory, sir, I realized that stemmed from a closed mind and a closed heart. And in hindsight, what the insight that I drew from there is, many a times, especially as coaches, we extend compassion and love for others, but at times we forget to do it for our own self. And in addition to the theory U, while also we were exploring the hero's journey, something which Maya Angelou said, which came to mind, is forgive yourself for not knowing what you did not know before you knew it. At times, I felt in certain aspects of my life, I was holding on to a lot of guilt. I wish I could have done it better. I wish I could have done it sooner. But through this journey, I realized that in order to truly move forward, you really need to let go of the hope of a better past. And there was also, we had touched upon an element of metaphors. I had always heard people use metaphors, so it was in my awareness, but I seldom explored it as an individual and even as a coach. But in the sessions, when you mentioned that, it's a hidden treasure of world of possibilities, I actually experienced it when I started exploring certain metaphors, even in daily life, when people started using it in daily life conversations. So I think the insight on metaphors was profound, that a word or a phrase can hold so many infinite possibilities.
As you mentioned, there are several tools, techniques, methods, and models that you have learned. So, any preferred frameworks, any tools that you are using in your coaching, and what sort of impact it is making?
So far in my experience of working with employees in the organization and also individuals, sir, I feel I rely majorly and prominently on my fine sense of judgment in the moment. I refrain from entering a coaching conversation having a tool in mind. I feel that beats the purpose. I focus more on building a connect and a rapport with the client, and from there it honestly just flows. Some of the tools I have mostly used in the moment is CCSS, start, stop, change, and continue. Cognitive reframing is a very powerful tool. I have seen shifts happen in 1 or 2 sessions when I ask those questions to my clients, and they're visibly able to see a difference in perspective and the kind of possibilities it brings for them. In certain cases, certain clients are comfortable with somatic questioning. I've used that there to enhance mind and body awareness. There are certain times clients have mentioned that, as I speak about destiny, when I speak about let things roll out the way they have to, I feel eased in my chest. And somatic questioning, I believe in my experience, sir, has led to profound awareness in the client and also in me as a coach, because every session brings you a new insight as a coach. In addition to somatic questioning, theory U has been extremely profound in the way when clients think on how you can make a shift from a closed heart to an open heart. Again, it opens them to a world of possibilities. And most recently in some of my coaching engagements, sir, I think I have been using polarity management a lot. As a coach, when you're listening to your client, you can hear a lot of contrasting thoughts, conflicting beliefs. And I believe in the moment when I had brought it out and I had placed it before the client, I think that awareness enhanced.
Yeah,
but I'll just like to add something more on that, sir, is I believe in so many years of experience, I focus more on the who. That is, I focus more on the person rather than the problem. And so far, in my experience, nothing beats presence and silence. When you're truly listening to the client, you're there with the client. You don't have to think of the next question. It just comes to you in the moment. And I believe same goes with tools. You don't have to think. It comes to you.
Comes to you. Yeah. That's very, very profound, because coaching is not just about tools, techniques, methods, models, but it is about being present and let it come. Yeah. Okay. So when you are working with these clients, able to, facilitate breakthroughs in them, what sort of breakthroughs have come for you?
Okay, that's an interesting one. I think, sir, one of the most important breakthroughs that I have had as an individual first before a coach is to give up the need or the desire to help people if you respect them. And when I say that, sir, I also think there is an element of detachment or being attached yet detached part linked to it. Because I feel that when I am attached to the client or what they're bringing on the table, I might get entangled in their emotions or in their thought process. But if I can sense, if I can feel what the client is bringing in the moment and yet be detached, yet offer a sense of clarity, a different perspective, I think that helps the client in the moment.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And another breakthrough that I had is two things. I think they're interlinked, that's why I'm saying it together. One is when I let go of who I am, I make space for what I might be. And what I resist persists, what I accept dissolves. And I think both of them, sir, they are coming from that stem of ego. That when I put myself back, when I release the hold on an image I have of myself or a perceived image I may have of myself, I am actually able to create a space for who I might be to emerge. So during this journey, I think it's learning and unlearning about myself has been phenomenally shifting.
Yeah, absolutely. And how are you feeling that as you are sharing this with all of us?
I used to feel there's a long way to go, but as I'm talking to you, I feel I've come a long way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if we go on the other side of the spectrum, that we all face challenges, right? So any challenge that you have faced, any tough moment in your coaching journey, either with yourself or with the client, and how did you handle it?
Sir, I had read it somewhere that anything worth having is not easy. And ever since I have begun my coaching journey, there have been one after the other challenges that have come. It started when I thought of coaching. When I had introduced the concept to my people around me, they said, "How are you going to take it forward? I hope you know it's a grey hair profession." Even while doing the course, there were moments of lack of clarity. I felt as if I was seated in the unknown. I did not know what to look at. And even after the course was done, even after the course was over, there was another challenge of how do you set it up as a business? So ever since I thought of coaching until now, I think there's been series of challenges. But certain things that helped me then, which still help me now, is I feel, at least most times, I'm a reason-based person. So I try and remind myself the reason why I started. And being a sports person, having a sports background, it really shaped my character. It made me who I am. And some of the core strengths of determination and resilience, they came from being a sports person. So whenever I face a challenge in any walk of life, I fall back on my core values.
Wonderful.
But in addition to having a clear mindset, I believe it's equally important to have a good support system. I have been privileged to have a good family, a supporting family, very close friends who have been there for me. They know me. I believe they know me better than I know myself. And it's definitely a blessing, sir, to have authentic people around you who tell you what you need to hear and not what you want to hear.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah? And one of them is sitting in front of me. So it's always a pleasure to have you.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure.
And speaking of business, sir, it has always been dicey. I've been in this entrepreneurship space for about 7-8 years now. 1 month is good. 1 month, okay, the revenue is coming, and the other month, it's all hazy. And in moments of these, I take a moment and remind myself of the battles I have won. Because, like I just said a while ago, there are times when we focus on how far we have to go. But if we just take a moment and remind ourselves how far we have come, I think that helps me ground in my own strengths and reality.
Yeah.
And speaking of strengths and reality, sir, one habit that I had built a few years back was constant gentle pressure, which I have been consistently regular, or I have been consistently practicing it from my own self as a person, because I realized I was overtly critical about myself, and that was causing burnout. So in this journey, I believe constant gentle pressure has kept me going. And constant gentle pressure coupled with absolute personal responsibility, I think that's a good combination. As Arthur Ashe says, start where you are, use what you can, do what you can, use what you have. I think that is important.
Yeah, absolutely. And he was a great tennis player as well.
Yes.
So, yeah. So if you have two very beautiful insights, thank you for sharing that. So if I can ask you that, in what way this coaching journey has been transformational for you? So if you have to say in one sentence, what would that be?
I think so. My relationship with myself has enhanced. I'm not saying I'm a perfect person. I've done good, I've done bad, I have a good side, I have a bad side. But I feel I accept myself as a whole. And through this journey, especially to some very, very life-altering theories like Theory U, I have been able to A, forgive, and B, come to at least a decent, if not a complete level of acceptance of myself as a person.
Yeah. And how do you see the future of coaching in India and in the world? Because as you know, I keep telling everyone that this world needs coaching and coaches more than ever before.
Yes.
So you have finished your ICF ACC credentials, you have finished your PCC journey as well. Now you're on a path to become PCC credential coach, and you are practicing real clients almost all the time. So are you optimistic about the future of coaching and coaches?
I think not only in India but in the world, there is a taboo that, agar kuch laga hai, go visit a doctor. But if something is ailing inside, you either sweep it under the rug or you forget it, you don't address it. So I think the people are opening up to seeking help when it comes to mental well-being. And you've been a trainer, you've been a mentor. I've also done some part of mentoring. I can genuinely see, sir, that a large part of the coaching fraternity is very genuine, and they want people to come closer to their own selves. They want them to live to their full potential. So I believe, yes, it's the space of coaching is, I think we've just scratched the surface. There's miles to go. And I think with trained coaches and with the genuine care and compassion that they bring to this world, I think it's more and more people will benefit from it.
So there are many people in dilemma whether to join coaching profession or not. They are sitting on the fence and in to be or not to be situation. So if you were to advise to those people who are into thinking mode, but they are not yet taking action on joining coach training, becoming a coach, go through this whole journey, which is supposedly transformational for an individual as well as for the clients that they are going to work with. So what would you tell them if they are sitting on the fence and waiting to hear from you, jump or not?
Sir, whenever I have been in a dilemma, yes, I have gone out and sought advice. Yes, I have had conversations with people to understand their opinion. Yes, I have read articles and books. Yes, I have heard podcasts. But most of the time, sir, answers to my questions have come in silence. So my suggestion, if I have to give it to them, whether to take the plunge or not, is if they can sit with them in silence, if they can understand who they really are and what they really want to do, I think they'll find the answer there.
Okay. So you're inviting them to coach themselves.
Yeah.
Go within.
Go within, yeah.
Okay. So Anuradha, you have given a very clear message for those coaches who are sitting on the fence, would-be coaches who are sitting on the fence, that go within and find the answer. But you have several colleagues who are on their journey already. Some of them have just finished the training, some of them are in training, some of them have finished credentials, looking to complete their further coaching hours. So what would you say to those coaches who are already on that journey?
Sir, as you asked me that question, a quote by Carl Jung comes to mind is, "Know all theories, master all techniques, but as you touch a human soul, be just another human soul." I think reading those theories, we forget that we are just a human being interacting with a human being. In my journey of ACC, I tried becoming a better listener. I tried becoming a better coach. I tried to become a good mirror to what the client was sharing, and it did not work. When I focused on just being in the moment with the client, the shifts started emerging, the questions started emerging, the tools started emerging. So for me, my learning is to be rather than to try and become something. And two suggestions which I give when I'm mentoring aspiring coaches is, number one is to focus on your mental chatter. Are you really there with the client, or are you lost in your own thought process? If you can focus on, if letting go is too difficult, if you can focus on shifting the lens from I to you or we. Something which we talk about in coaching, which is very integral, is unconditional positive regard, compassion, and suspension of judgment. I believe when we shift the focus from I to we, that effortlessly happens. And another thing which has helped me in my journey of peer coaching in ACC is to have a rhythm. So I used to schedule peer coaching sessions 3 days a week. It can be either Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. And I realized, sir, my depth, my presence, my listening just enhanced because there was a rhythm in place. And I feel these things, if you practice more, it's like a learnable skill. The more you practice, the more it improves. And if there is a gap, you'll notice that in your listening. You'll notice you're missing things. And so if you can build a rhythm for yourself that will help you, that helped me in my journey. And I'm somebody who is very in tune with nature, and something which Marcus Aurelius mentioned comes to mind is, each of us need what nature gives us when it gives us. So the importance of patience and keep going, have that faith that things will fall in place at its own time, and just keep going. I think these are my learnings from my journey of ACC, also from my journey of PCC, which anybody who is on that path, happy to share that as an advice.
So wonderful having you today, Anuradha. Very deep and profound insights.
Thank you.
I always doubt your physical age is much younger than your mental emotional maturity. So all the best for your journey.
Thank you.
Thank you.